Throughout history, countless individuals have walked the earth, leaving their mark on the sands of time. But few have left an imprint as profound and enduring as Jesus of Nazareth. His life, his teachings, his very existence continue to inspire billions across the globe. In this exploration of faith, we delve into the top 10 challenges Jesus faced, offering a glimpse into the sacrifices he made and the strength he embodied. From the agony of the cross to the betrayal of a trusted disciple, we'll uncover the depths of his resilience and the unwavering power of his spirit. Join us now as we journey back in time, retracing the footsteps of Jesus and gaining a deeper understanding of the man who changed the course of history.
Imagine, if you will, the searing pain, the raw agony of crucifixion. Nails piercing flesh, the weight of your body pulling on your wounded hands and feet, every breath, a struggle. This was the physical torment Jesus endured. But the cross held more than physical pain. It bore the weight of every sin, every doubt, every hardship humanity would ever face. His cries of anguish echoed not just from physical pain, but from the depths of his soul. The crucifixion stands as a stark reminder of the price paid for our redemption, a symbol of love so profound it transcends the boundaries of time and human understanding. Imagine returning to the place where you grew up, the familiar streets, the faces you've known your entire life. Now imagine being met not with warmth but with skepticism, doubt, even outright rejection. This was the harsh reality Jesus faced in Nazareth, his hometown. Despite the miracles he performed, the wisdom he shared, he was met with resistance, a refusal to see him as anything more than the carpenter's son. Their rejection cut deep, a painful reminder that even the divine can be misunderstood. This rejection in Nazareth foreshadowed the broader resistance Jesus would face throughout his ministry. Yet, despite the sting of rejection, Jesus continued to share his teachings, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to his mission. Imagine surrounding yourself with individuals eager to learn, to follow in your footsteps, only to realize they often misunderstand your words and your purpose. This was the constant challenge Jesus faced with his disciples. They were devoted, yes, but also flawed and human, often struggling to grasp the true meaning of his teachings. Time and again, they questioned his actions, doubted his words, and failed to fully comprehend the magnitude of his mission. Yet, he met their shortcomings with patience and understanding, always willing to explain, to guide, to nurture their faith. He never gave up on them, even when their doubts tested his resolve. In their struggles, we see our own, the human tendency to stumble, to question, to fall short. Imagine facing constant scrutiny, your every word twisted, your every action questioned by those in positions of power. This was the reality Jesus faced with the religious leaders of his time. The Pharisees and Sadducees, threatened by his teachings and his growing following, sought to discredit him, to undermine his message, to silence his voice. They challenged his authority, questioned his interpretations of Scripture, and accused him of blasphemy. Their opposition was relentless, a constant source of conflict and tension. They plotted against him, seeking ways to trap him in his words, to turn the public against him. Yet Jesus refused to be intimidated. He stood firm in his convictions, boldly challenging their hypocrisy and exposing their flawed interpretations of faith. His confrontations with the Pharisees and Sadducees serve as a timeless reminder that challenging the status quo, speaking truth to power, often comes at a price. Hey everyone! If you're enjoying the content and want to support the channel, consider clicking on the Super Thanks button below. Your donations help us keep creating awesome videos for you, and every bit of support means the world to us. Now back to the video. Imagine possessing the power to heal the sick, to raise the dead, to control the forces of nature. Now imagine being constantly pressured to prove your abilities, to perform miracles on demand. This was the burden Jesus carried. People flocked to him, not always for his teachings, but for the spectacle of his miracles, for the hope of physical healing or material gain. They saw him as a source of wonder, a dispenser of miracles rather than the Son of God. This constant pressure to perform, To prove his divinity through supernatural feats created a unique challenge. Yet Jesus understood the human desire for tangible proof, for visible signs of the divine. His miracles were never performed on demand, but always with purpose, always guided by love and compassion. Imagine feeling the pain of the world around you, the collective weight of sorrow, grief, and despair pressing down on your very soul. This was the burden Jesus willingly carried. He possessed an unparalleled capacity for empathy, feeling the pain of others as if it were his own. He wept with those who mourned, comforted the afflicted, and offered solace to the brokenhearted. He didn't just preach compassion, he embodied it. Everywhere he went, he encountered suffering in its various forms: physical ailments, emotional anguish, spiritual emptiness. This constant exposure to suffering, this intimate connection to the human condition, took a toll. Yet, Jesus never shied away from suffering. He embraced it, absorbed it, and offered himself as a beacon of hope in the midst of darkness. Imagine knowing from a young age the weight of your destiny, the inevitability of your suffering, the certainty of your death. This was the reality Jesus faced. He knew his purpose, understood the sacrifice he was sent to make, and embraced the path laid out before him. He lived with the full knowledge of the betrayal, the agony, the ultimate sacrifice he would endure. This foreknowledge cast a long shadow over his ministry. Yet, he never faltered, never wavered in his commitment to his mission. His willingness to embrace his fate, to walk willingly towards his own suffering, speaks volumes about his strength, his resolve, and the depth of his love for humanity. He chose love over fear, sacrifice over self-preservation. He didn't stumble blindly into his fate. He embraced it, knowing the cost, understanding the significance, and loving us still. Imagine being betrayed by someone you trusted, someone you considered a friend, a confidant, a brother. This was the devastating reality Jesus faced with Judas Iscariot. Judas, one of his 12 disciples, the one entrusted with his finances, made the conscious decision to betray him, to hand him over to the authorities for a handful of silver coins. It was an act of unimaginable treachery, a betrayal that cut deep into Jesus' soul. The betrayal was more than just a logistical challenge. It was a profound personal blow. For Jesus, who preached forgiveness and embodied love, this betrayal was a profound test of his teachings. Yet, even in his final moments, he showed compassion for Judas, acknowledging his betrayal, but also his humanity. The betrayal of Judas stands as a stark reminder that even in the face of unimaginable cruelty, love, forgiveness, and compassion can still prevail. Imagine a garden bathed in moonlight, a place of peace and tranquility transformed into a crucible of anguish and despair. This was Gethsemane, the place where Jesus faced his darkest hour. Knowing his arrest was imminent, knowing the suffering that awaited him, Jesus retreated to the garden to pray. Here, alone with his Father, he wrestled with the weight of his destiny, the enormity of his sacrifice. The Gospels describe his anguish, the sweat like drops of blood, the desperate pleas for another way. Yet, even in his agony, he never wavered in his commitment to his Father's will. He surrendered to his fate, accepting the cup of suffering with a heavy heart but an unwavering spirit. Gethsemane stands as a testament to the power of prayer, the importance of surrender, and the unwavering love that fuels true sacrifice. Imagine the isolation of the desert, the scorching sun, the gnawing hunger, the relentless whispers of temptation. This was the reality Jesus faced during his 40 days and nights in the wilderness. Led by the Spirit into this desolate place, Jesus faced the ultimate test of his faith, his resilience, his very identity. Satan, in all his cunning and guile, tempted him with power, with glory, with an easier path. Each temptation was tailored to exploit his human desires, to offer him a way out of his preordained path of suffering. Yet, with each temptation, Jesus stood firm, his spirit unbroken, his resolve unwavering. He countered Satan's deceptions with scripture, with faith, with an unwavering trust in his Father's plan. His triumph in the wilderness serves as a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in our weakest moments, Even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, we too can overcome temptation through faith and surrender to a higher power. As we reflect on the challenges Jesus faced, we're reminded that his journey, though extraordinary, holds profound lessons for our own lives. His unwavering faith, his boundless compassion, and his willingness to embrace suffering offer a timeless example of strength, resilience, and love. Each challenge he overcame, each temptation he resisted, each act of compassion he displayed, reveals the depth of his character and the power of his message. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring top 10 lists that delve into the extraordinary stories that have shaped our world.